my pleasure to draw us to a close. I thought I'd just share a few thoughts from the day and then perhaps a few thank yous. I was subjected to one of those psychometric testing exercises the other day, you know, the sort of things where they ask you what your breakfast preferences are and then tell you how you think. Well, it comes out that my top trait, the trait that I most often exhibit, is optimism. And there you go. Maybe that's why I took this job. So it's no surprise, perhaps, to say that I've kind of come away from today with a whole series of opportunities that have loomed larger than perhaps the challenges for me. So we've heard that yesterday there's an opportunity to export an awful lot more seafood to some new and existing markets. And we heard there's an opportunity to draw down some funding. So we shouldn't pass that up from the government to help us do that. There's an opportunity to get more advice and guidance from our export team at Seafish, the tariff tool that Arena brilliantly showed us there, and Ivan and Hannah with the information that's available from a regulatory point of view. We need to prepare ourselves. There's an opportunity to prepare ourselves for those rules of origin changes that Daniel was talking about this morning. We've heard Mike talk about the opportunity to secure a lot more access to fisheries in our exclusive economic zone. There's opportunities. Nigel invited us to have our say, be heard, and DEFRA are listening, I think. If you've got any particular concerns about the Brexit process that you haven't already articulated, he and DEFRA are in listening mode. Then we got onto the whole area of consumption, and we've heard about the opportunities to drive up consumption. If we're thinking about easy to cook, price accessibility, the health benefits, Simon, Victoria, Leanne all talked about those, touched on those. We've got opportunities to tell our stories, and as we've taken with Hans's focus on origin, and perhaps there's things to learn there. There's opportunities, I think this is what you're saying, Angus, to secure a higher supply of key species by 2030. People are optimistic about that. So lots of good work there. There's an opportunity for our industry to have a strong voice and show that it is playing its part in addressing the plastics challenge that Peter sketched out there with, for instance, the Fishing for Litter scheme. But also an opportunity for us to be clear that there is no evidence that ingestion of microplastics threatens food safety. And then finally, we've had an opportunity to put together a comprehensive end-to-end assurance arrangement for wild capture supply chain, which really would be a game changer for the industry. So lots to celebrate, be optimistic about. I don't think we should be blind to many of the challenges, and I'm not going to go over those because I am an optimist, and that's my trait. But I think, you know, playing to our strengths is potentially a good strategy to follow. We could do ourselves a lot of good if we play to all of the strengths that we know our product and our industry has to offer. So it's been a good day, a good 2 days from that point of view. I just want to say a few final things. The Young Leaders initiative, we've already had a few into the inbox, so thank you if you're here and you've put those into that inbox. But do, if you're a senior folk, if you're too old to be a young leader, do get back to the ranch and start thinking about who you might put forward for that initiative. We're going to kick that through. Thank you again, sponsors, for everything that you've done to make this happen. Delegates, of course, for coming and making it such a success, and so many of you sticking with it right to the end. I'm impressed, because normally we have a good bit of leakage, but that's great. The speakers, perhaps it's because they've been so compelling and so interesting to listen to. So thank you all of those inputs. I'm going to also add to Debbie's thanks to our staff. There's many of you in the room. I know Nikki, Julie, Emma, you've sort of led this, but there's also a Philip and there's also a Nick on the media and the booking side. So thanks, guys, for pulling all of that together. Mal and your team done a super job. Now, two last things. I've got to press the button, haven't I, Julie? We're going to do this all again. We think this format works really well. Our Scottish Seafish Advisory Committee we're going to do, or asked us to do, a kind of market insight session, but then actually they wanted us to expand that. So if I'm not mistaken, that's kind of like the day or so before we come out of the European Union, unless anyone knows something I don't yet. I haven't looked at my feed. But we're going to do this all again in Aberdeen to be precise. I think the Hilton Hotel, the venue is ready. We'll be engaging with our committee in Scotland to make sure that that's a really compelling event as well. We'll have all the key ingredients, i.e. the seafood fair. So if you want some more seafood, no doubt we can make that a real Scottish celebration of seafood up there. So please, I'm not sure when that will be open for signing up, but very shortly. Today, that's open for signing on if you want a whole load of this again, which is great. Very last thing, we've had our friends from the RNLI who have been with us the last couple of days, and they've been shaking the tin, and we like to support that really important initiative. We haven't said much about fishermen safety at this conference. It is one of our other challenges. We haven't said too much about it. Perhaps another time to pick up that agenda again. We're still busy with it, of course. But just a last little bit of fundraising opportunity. Now, another one of our sponsors was, can I get it right, Scilotti, who produced the chocolate fish. We have 2 chocolate fish here that we want to auction for charity. Do we have a fish auctioneer in the house? I'm not sure that we do. But if I could open the bit, what are these? Are these solid chocolate fish? Hollow chocolate fish? Okay, what species would you say? They are underutilised fish. Well done. They are also clearly data deficient fisheries. So, can I open the bidding? Do I have 20 quid for 2 lovely fish to take home for the kids? There's a 20 at the back. Thank you, Julie. I've got to rise on 20. Anybody do 20? So we will say 22, yes? 22. 22 down there. Any more on 22? 22. Holding at 20. Do I have 24? 24. Thank you, Melanie. 24. 26. Thank you very much. Holding 26. 28. Any further? £28 for these 2 lovely fish. £30 there. We've hit £30. Thank you, sir. 35. 35 down here. 50, thank you, Papa's Fish and Chips. They'll melt in the fryer. Sorry, are we holding, did you say 50 quid? 50 quid. At 50, going once, going twice. Bill, are you scratching your head, or is that a bid? Sold, thank you, Papa's. Well done. Well done, thank you. Thank you very much for supporting us. Brilliant. I'm going to bring the curtain down there. Thanks, everybody. Have a really safe trip home, and please keep engaging with us at Seafish. We're doing our very best to support you, and hopefully see you at our next event. Take care. See you later. Thank you. Bye-bye.